Listener discretion is advised.
Very different from Lucy's case and everything we've been talking about because, like I said, there was a lot of intent involved in this
Criminal and law and order, criminal intent.
Criminal intent. There was some negligence, which was later addressed, but mostly this is fucking intent.
Okay.
So, David Augustus Burke was born in 1952 to Jamaican parents who were living in the United Kingdom. Later, the family emigrated to the United States and settled in Rochester, New York.
Yes.
Ooh, I can
Ra-cha-cha.
smell it from here.
One of my hometowns.
Yeah, Amanda lived there very briefly.
Lots of
2
industrial
years
plants.
is plenty of. 2 years doesn't feel brief when you're living
Two
in Rochester.
formative years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 very long years.
Yeah. You spent half that time at Hamilton College.
I did. I was a refugee.
I
fled to
I
Hamilton.
benefited so hardcore from you being miserable in Rochester.
Accurate.
You guys went to college together.
Yeah.
Basically.
Even though one of you was enrolled.
So, David's father worked as an airport taxi driver in Rochester, and then David, too, was drawn to working at the airport.
Okay. The airport
So-
Hojo by the airport.
So when Burke grew up, he began working for a now defunct airline called U.S. Air.
Oh my God. I
spent
love a
14
defunct airline.
There's so many.
I know.
They just can't keep up. If Delta goes
Love-
defunct and I
No,
lose my Sky Miles,
No.
No.
I just bought my.
Don't
I'll
speak
be
it into
pissed.
existence.
I bought a ticket today to go celebrate something with a friend next month. Kenyon knows what I mean. And it cost $11 because of
Yeah.
my Sky Miles.
Because of the fees.
Yep. So
It's like $11 and some cents for
Delta
taxes.
cannot.
Delta can't go
Go
under.
belly up.
It makes up too much of my assets.
Yeah.
right now.
I
All
feel
my
like
money's tied up in Delta Sky Miles right now. They cannot go anywhere.
I don't know what your case is, but I also have a feeling that all now defunct airlines are defunct for a fucking reason.
Well, yeah, I don't know if this played into them being defunct. Maybe it did.
Won't you take me to Defuncty Town?
So
Defunct it down.
okay, so he spent 14 years working for the airline out of the Rochester airport in a variety of terminal-based jobs. So he was mainly working at like the desk at the terminal and not actually like on the aircraft most
Okay.
of the time.
Okay.
But during this time, suspicion lingered that Burke was involved with a drug smuggling ring
Oh,
that was
dear.
bringing cocaine into Rochester from Jamaica via U.S. Air flights.
Okay.
This claim was based primarily on the fact that Burke, quote, kept stacks of cash, owned a home and several nice cars, including a BMW, a Mercedes, and a Lincoln, in that order.
Love it. I love a Lincoln. It's classy and practical.
Wouldn't Mercedes be more expensive than a
Yes,
BMW?
that's what that was. So purchases that it seemed like he should not be able to afford on his salary and could only have been acquired through illicit means. So basically people were just like, your lifestyle doesn't really
Match your salary.
right. And US Air flies to Jamaica and you're Jamaican and we're going to connect some dots here. Other sources, however, state that Burke was financially secure because his parents had saved to buy him a house as a high school graduation present.
Yeah.
They were,
It's possible.
I wrote in parentheses, can you even fucking imagine?
You know,
A
I would be
school
I would be willing to
graduation
bet we
present.
went to high school with some people who
Yeah. Got
got
that.
a gift like that.
I mean, we went
Yeah.
to a very douchey, affluent high school.
Right. And I think, and his family was not douchey affluent. Again, his dad is an immigrant taxi driver. They're just very hardworking, middle class people who like saved every penny and then gave as much as they could to their kids.
So
Base
they
is-
did buy him a house?
That is according to some sources. I don't know.
There's also buying a house and maintaining a mortgage. Like you don't just buy a house and you're like, here you go.
Yeah, maybe they gave him a down payment. Maybe they helped him cover a mortgage. Maybe it was an investment property that they already had and they let him live in it. Who fucking know? I don't fucking know.
But still, high school graduation. I don't think I knew how to do laundry when I graduated high
my word.
school.
I knew how to do laundry, but I definitely did not know how to do life.
I told you that my friend Ellen used, Schmellen, used fabric softener instead of detergent
for
her
like
first
years.
for our freshman year.
I probably tell somebody that story once a week.
Mhm.
Sorry, Schmellen.
She's like, my clothes smell so good.
I tell that story
They've never actually
fucking
been
constantly.
clean.
And I also think of her every single load of laundry that I do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
So anyway,
Oh, her underwear wasn't clean for a
Okay.
year.
Yep, we got it.
but smelled
it.
really soft.
Smelled real good.
Oh, no.
Okay, so
She did smell good.
So anyway, some people are saying he's stealing money through this drug smuggling thing because he works for the airline. Some are like, no, his parents worked really hard and saved and like got him a good start in life and he's just good with money.
Got it.
He did own a property quite young. However, he managed that. And then he sold it, eventually netting a profit of over $200,000 for the sale of these two properties. So he is making money just from savvy property investments.
It is an investment.
Yeah. So he was generally thought to be good at investing. Regardless, there was never any hard evidence that David Burke was involved with the drug smuggling, but the conjecture kind of remained.
Mm-hmm.
And now when we hear more about this guy, I lean towards it's a definite possibility.
Mm.
So if he had been involved in an occult... Oh, my God. If he had been involved in a narcotics ring, that would have been really shitty given the fact that one of his brothers died of a heroin overdose in 1980.
That's rough.
Oh, no.
Anyway, so in part to escape these rumors and in part to reunite with an ex-girlfriend named Jackie Camacho, so Burke never married, but he definitely like spread his wild oats. So he fathered 7 children by 4 different women before he turned 35.
Holy
busy.
shit.
That
Busy.
is...
Them are some wild oats.
Much like President Trump. So he made the decision to leave Rochester in 1986 and relocate to Los Angeles. So there's all these rumors. He's not getting along with coworkers, whatever. He's like, fuck it. I'm out of here. I'm going to LA. I want to
The
reunite.
pussy dried up.
He's drowning in children.
Fuck it. I'm too close to all my goddamn kids.
I
I'm
gotta
moving
go.
to LA.
I'm fleeing the scene.
I also read that he was maybe demoted and forced to leave Rochester and move to LA while still working for the airline. I don't know if that's true. So in LA, he continued to work for US Air, which had recently been purchased by Pacific Southwest Airlines out of LAX as a ticketing agent. But after only about a year at LAX, he was caught on a security camera stealing receipts from in-flight cocktail sales. So presumably he was going to get rid of those receipts to make it look like those sales never took place so that he could pocket the cash from those sales.
Okay.
So he was now working on airplanes or
No, he's still a ticketing agent, but I'm guessing the in-flight alcohol receipts go through that, desk job person.
okay.
And anytime there was an alcohol sales receipt where somebody paid for it in cash, he would just lose that receipt and then take that exact
that never
amount in
happened.
cash. And then it's like it never happened.
Interesting.
balance the books.
Right. And the only thing that's missing is like that, shot of vodka or whatever, and they're never going to know.
Mm-hmm.
So the theft was petty. The total that he was caught stealing amounted to just $69. but Burke was placed on leave pending an investigation and then ultimately fired. So they were like, we got to figure out if he's been doing this for a long time. Is he stealing other things? Is he embezzling? What's going on?
Yeah.
Also, it should be noted that back in 1984, David Burke had been arrested for shoplifting about $45 worth of goods from a local store, which again, he did not, it's not like he needed the money, like he was well off. But he was shoplifting and caught, and he pled down to a lesser charge of disorderly conduct. So I don't think his employer would have ever been notified.
Sure.
It kind of reminds me of Robert Durst, like stealing that sandwich.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
When he had that weird
like a
Band-Aid and
compulsion.
the shaved head. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I-
Or
it's
Winona
like an-
Ryder.
It's like an ego thing, maybe.
Right? So afterwards, in an attempt to plead his case and be rehired, David Burke scheduled a meeting with his manager, a 48-year-old man named Ray Thompson. Even before David's dismissal for theft, these two men had had a contentious relationship. So Burke believed that Thompson had twice passed him over for promotions that he believed he was qualified for in favor of white employees who had significantly less experience than him. So David Burke, like I said, is Jamaican. He is black. Ray Thompson is white. And David Burke believed that like his manager was like giving these promotions to white people who had fewer years experience. And look, that's definitely possible. And that absolutely happens.
Oh,
It
yeah.
could also be the fact that, like, in this particular case, the manager was, like, getting wind of him doing shady shit.
Yeah, I mean, it could be both.
It could be both. Right, exactly. So, actually, just a few months before he was fired, David had contacted the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing to report racial discrimination in the workplace. So, he's unhappy with his manager. He feels like he's being discriminated against. And maybe that is what kind of spurred him to steal from the company. I don't know. I don't know, like, if it's kind of a chicken and egg scenario,
Yeah.
I think. So, he doesn't like his manager. His manager doesn't like him. He's threatened to sue in the past, and he's just been fired for being caught stealing. He's trying to have a conversation with the manager to get rehired. It's no surprise that this conversation did not go well. Burke's appeal to Thompson for his job back was unsuccessful, but rather than brood for a bit and then move on, this rejection sent Burke into a rage that would have tragic consequences beyond anyone's worst nightmares.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So at the end of the meeting, I read that Thompson was like kind of snarky, like, have a good day, you know, whatever, as like Burke left the office.
Ooh.
And Burke was like, oh, I intend to.
Okay.
So
I
directly,
do not like where this is going.
yeah. Directly following this meeting with Thompson, Burke booked a one-way ticket on Pacific Southwest Airlines Flight 1771, which was a daily flight from Los Angeles, where he worked, to San Francisco. Again, it's a one-way ticket.
Right.
Burke knew that Thompson commuted from Los Angeles, where he worked, to his home in San Francisco, and that he would be on this daily flight. Burke didn't bring any luggage. He like literally left this meeting that went poorly. He had just been fired, and
Got on a plane
And
with
got-
the clothes
and
on his
got-
back.
got this one-way ticket with the clothes on his back.
Doesn't sound like he intended to come back.
The flight was scheduled to depart from LAX at 3:31 p.m. on December 7th, 1987, and arrive at San Francisco, whatever. I don't know.
International Airport.
San
SFO.
Francisco.
SFO. San Francisco or port.
Or port.
Or port.
At 4:43 p.m. Burke borrowed a Smith & Wesson revolver, which I also read was a .44 Magnum, but like maybe those things are not mutually exclusive. I don't know.
I don't understand guns at all.
Some handgun revolver thingy.
A weapon.
He borrowed it from a coworker who must have had it, I'm assuming, like in their car because he like didn't go home at any point. And by using his U.S. Air employee credentials that had not yet been surrendered after his firing, he was able to bypass the airport's security checkpoints and go directly to the gate with the concealed weapon.
You would think that
Oh, wow.
employees would still have to go through checkpoints. 'Cause
Well,
there are so
this
many
was also
fucking
pre-9/11
airport
though.
employees.
Yeah, this was 87.
Oh,
So that's
yeah.
why. Because now they do. They still have to
Yeah.
go through. They can go to the front of the line, but they still have to go through security.
So after boarding the plane, he wrote a message to Thompson on an airsick bag that read, quote, "Hi, Ray. I think it's sort of ironical that we end up like this. I asked for some leniency for my family. Remember? Well, I got none, and you'll get none."
Okay. That's ominous.
What happened next is a matter of some speculation, but the most likely series of events based on recovered audio from the plane is as follows.
Oh, God. Recovered audio.
Black box. Oh, no.
About halfway through the flight, when the plane was at cruising altitude of 22,000 feet, Burke got up from his seat to go to the bathroom. It's unknown if he ever delivered his note on the airsick bag to Thompson, but if he did, it may have been as he walked from his seat to the plane's bathroom. And Thompson probably didn't even know that he was fucking on
Right.
this flight.
No.
It's a flight that he took every single day. It's his daily commute. He's like, you know,
I don't make eye contact with anyone else on a flight.
right? So it is believed that Burke entered the bathroom in order to load the gun he had concealed on him before exiting and returning to where Thompson was sitting.
Oh, no.
At this point, the plane's captain, Greg Lindemood, and its first officer, James Nunn, were communicating with air traffic control about upcoming turbulence when they heard the sound of 2 gunshots from the cabin.
Oh, my God.
So this is believed to be Burke walking up to Thompson and shooting him twice.
That would have been very loud on an airplane, too.
Can you fucking
That'd be
imagine?
terrifying. That'd
No.
be so terrifying.
James Nunn, the first officer, reported to air traffic control that shots had been fired on the plane. This was the last communication between Flight 1771 and air traffic control.
Oof.
Based on audio recordings that were recovered later, at this point, a flight attendant named Deborah Neal entered the cockpit and told the crew, "We have a problem." Captain Lindemood asked, "What's the problem?" To which Burke can be heard on the tape responding chillingly, "I'm the problem."
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, wow. That's dramatic.
Ew.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Ooh.
Based on later testimony, it is likely that Burke was able to gain access to the plane's cockpit because the access code was scratched into the door above the lock. So literally, like, it's like having like a Post-it note with like your password
On your computer
fucking
desktop.
computer. Yeah.
The fuck.
Lucy.
I
Everyone's mom.
transcribe.
Everyone's mom.
Everyone's mom.
A lot of
Lot of-
boomer moms with the Post-it note password.
With the passwords.
Oh,
right there.
yeah. I put those into my bullet journal. It's fine.
I
They're
write
not on
them
my
somewhere
desktop anymore.
slightly less discreet.
They're coded.
More discreet.
They're all color coded. You wouldn't know what they are just looking at it.
Oh, see, that's good. If you put it in some kind of code,
It's
then
coded. Yeah.
that helps. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you don't scratch it into the door above the lock.
No.
And you don't,
You don't.
hide your house key under the welcome mat.
Or a key rock.
Yeah.
Or the potted plant next to your door.
Yeah.
We all know.
Everybody fucking knows.
Mhm.
So Burke's proclamation of "I'm the problem" was accompanied by the sound of a gunshot, which is believed to be him shooting flight attendant Deborah Neal.
Oh, Jesus.
None of these people had anything to do with what happened to him.
No. Even Ray Thompson
Even if
had
they
nothing-
did.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
He didn't. It's not even like his manager technically did anything wrong. Like
Right.
he fucking was caught stealing. There's some sort of procedures in place.
He was
And
held
if-
accountable.
Yeah, and if he had already been demoted from one airport and then moved to you and then caught stealing, like, yeah, you're gonna get fucking fired.
Absolutely.
So this gunshot, of which we believe is killing Deborah Neal, was followed soon after by the sound of 2 additional gunshots, most likely Burke shooting the captain and then the first officer. So now the plane has no one flying it.
Yeah. I mean, like you said earlier, Lucy, clearly he had no intention of surviving this. Because otherwise, what would be the fucking point? You're just
It
taking
was-
everybody down with you.
It was straight up maniacal revenge, period.
After a brief pause, a final gunshot is heard, and there's some debate over this last gunshot. Some people believe that it was Burke shooting a man named Douglas Arthur, who was another actual pilot who was on board as just a passenger.
Yeah,
'Cause,
and
you know,
if he had survived, he likely could have at least landed the plane.
right. So it's possible that he had like gotten up from his seat from these gunshots and like
Yo,
moved
this
towards-
is why we're duct taping people to airplane seats when they fucking act out on an airplane.
Yeah.
This is why.
anything could fucking happen and you could all fucking die.
I bet he shot himself.
Well,
Be a lot quicker than going down.
Yeah.
So that's one theory, is that this pilot made this last minute heroic effort to like reach the cockpit and save the plane and was shot. And then others believe that the final shot was actually Burke turning the gun on himself.
Because he doesn't want to die in a plane crash.
Either way, it is the last sound that is heard on the plane's recordings, other than an increase in like windscreen noise as it pitched sharply downward and accelerated. And you might be thinking like, well, couldn't the plane kind of fly itself for a while, you know, without human interaction? But the sharp downward angle of the plane has also been a matter of some speculation. So if Burke did not shoot himself, it's
Then
possible
he sabotaged.
it's possible that he took control of the plane and drove it downward before shooting himself, because there was that pause.
Yeah.
And if he had done that and it pitched enough, then that other pilot wouldn't have been able to like physically get to the cockpit.
That seems honestly very likely.
right.
Also, like when he shot either of the people in the cockpit, maybe like their bodies might have like shoved the
Exactly.
throttle down.
Oh, yeah, the slumping.
So my next sentence, another theory is that if the captain and the first officer were shot from behind, they could have slumped onto the plane's control sticks and drove the plane steeply downward.
Seems entirely likely.
Look at both of you with just such clever observations.
We're astute.
We're
You
paying
are
attention to
so
the case.
astute.
I put the ass in astute.
Get it? That
I
ass.
put the
Amanda
IBS
puts-
in business.
Amanda puts the toot in astute.
I do. I put the toot in a stoot. Accurate.
Okay, so. All right. Laugh it up. Next sentence.
Oh,
taking
good.
every opportunity I
Oh,
get.
good.
So, Flight 1771 crashed into a hillside on a cattle ranch in the Santa Lucia Mountains. It is estimated to have been traveling around 770 miles per hour at the time of impact.
Oh my god.
So, it disintegrated instantly.
Nope. That.
At least that was a quick death.
Yeah, but the people
you're
alive
crashing
all
down.
the way down.
Yeah, from 22,000 feet down.
Oh my god, that'd be a
I
horrible
know,
way to
somebody
die.
Somebody can calculate how long that took.
No,
Not
I'm
me,
good. I'm good.
No, I'm okay.
If it was 2 seconds, that's too long.
Right?
That'd be a
Yes.
horrible way to die.
Yes, of course, that would be. But also, if it hadn't crashed that quickly, then maybe there was like an oil spill and flames and people suffering for like
Right.
minutes after, you know what I
Right.
mean.
The actual physical pain would have been instantaneous.
Minimal.
But
Yeah.
I'm looking
the
for a
fear.
silver lining
Right.
here because that 770 miles an hour is
That's too much.
unfathomable.
Too much for me.
So All 43 people on board the plane were killed, including David Burke. So whether they were shot or they died in the crash, everybody died.
And they were so mangled that the detectives couldn't even figure out who was shot and who wasn't.
It is absolutely nuts what they are able to piece together from the wreckage, and we're about to get to it.
And
It
the
is-
audio is helpful too.
It's amazing, actually. So
Well, I sure hope you liked that clip. If you did like that clip, make sure you are subscribing to our YouTube channel, leaving us a nice review, and joining us on Patreon for even more video content, audio content, salacious content all around. Come join us. Treat yourself.